Hello, this is Miss Quillen from Union Elementary. Today we are going to be doing a 4th grade lesson on subtracting mixed numbers with like denominators. Our content goal for today is students will be able to subtract mixed numbers using drawn models. Our language goal for today is students will use the terms numerator, denominator, and difference. And our social goal today is students will share their thinking with a partner. Before we get started on today's new content, let's review what we did last week. I'd like you to look at the equation 7/12 take away 4/12 and solve it on a piece of paper. Pause the video here as you are solving. What we remember from last week is that when we subtract, our denominators stay the same. So if I'm starting with 12ths in my equation, that means my answer will have 12ths as well. Now I need to subtract my numerator, 7 take away 4, which equals 3. So my final answer is 3/12. I'd like you to solve this equation here, 35/100 take away 21/100. Pause the video here as you're solving. Just like before, we know that if we are starting with hundredths, our answer will have hundredths as well. Our denominator stays the same. Now we need to take 35 and take away 21. We can do this by decomposing those numbers. So doing 30 take away 20, which equals 10, and 5 take away 1, which equals 4. And when we put that back together, that equals 14. So our final answer is 14/100. Today we're going to be subtracting mixed numbers, and we're going to start out with some easy problems and then work into the harder ones. So this problem, we are asked to take 4 2/4, take away 3 1/4. We always want to start by subtracting the fractions first. So I'm going to take 2/4 and 1/4 and subtract those first. Again, I know my denominator stays the same as fourths, and I'm going to do 2 take away 1, which equals 1. After I take away and find my fraction, I need to now take away those whole numbers. So bring down my 4 and bring down my 3 and do 4 take away 3, which equals 1. So now I have to put my answer back together and I'm left with 1 1/4. Now we have 9 3/8 take away 2 2/8. We always start by subtracting the fractions first. So 3/8 take away 2/8. When we are subtracting, we know our denominator stays the same as 8s, and 3 take away 2 equals 1. Now we need to subtract our whole numbers, 9 and 2. 9 take away 2 equals 7. So our final answer when we put our whole number and fraction together is 7 1/8. Now we have 10 9/12 take away 8 4/12. Again, we start with our fractions. So 9/12 and 4/12. We know our denominator stays the same as 12ths. And now we need to subtract our numerator. 9 take away 4 equals 5. So my fraction is 5/12. I'm not done yet. Now I need to take away these whole numbers. So 10 take away 8 equals 2. I've decomposed this to solve, so now I need to put it back together. 2 5/12. Now I'd like you to pause the video and practice solving these two problems on your own. As you are solving at home, the first thing you should have done is brought down these two fractions, 4/5 and 2/5, and subtracted those first. This step is very important as we move on to more challenging problems next. So our denominator is fifths, so that will be in my answer, fifths. Now I need to subtract my numerators. 4 take away 2 equals 2. And then I need to subtract my whole numbers. 8 take away 6 equals 2. I've decomposed my mixed numbers to solve. Now I need to put them back together for my answer. And I have 2 and 2/5. My next problem, I need to take my two fractions, 8/10 and 4/10, and subtract those. My denominator stays the same as I'm subtracting, so my answer will be in tenths. And now I have to subtract my numerator. 8 take away 4 equals 4. Then I have to subtract my whole numbers. 12 take away 7 equals 5. I decomposed to solve, and now I need to put it back together for my answer. 5 and 4/10.